Hey guys, welcome back. It is the Wallabies versus the Springboks again this week. Sorry if it is loud in the background. My neighbors have been busy with construction all week, all day as well. I've been waiting for a gap, but they just do not stop. So, hey, I decided let's just get this video out there because I've been waiting for a gap where they clear up. So, looking at the two teams, just a side note, it is a difficult preview this because I actually thought the Springboks would win last week. A lot of players or a lot of people did think the Springboks would win last week. The Wallabies ended up winning by 1 point. So it is a crazy prediction to make this week again. If you do look at the two sides that are starting, the Wallabies again have less caps. Not that that mattered at all. They have more caps this week than last week. 526 to the Boxers 646. A lot of those two caps are down to two Centurions in the Wallabies' side. James Slipper, he's starting this week. Michael Hooper, he's also a Centurion. So James Slipper, he's been doing really well off of the bench. So has Teniela Tupou. I've wanted him to start for a long time now. Luckily, he is starting now for the Wallabies' sake. Last week, he just made a big difference when he came on for the Wallabies. They got that crucial penalties. And yes, it does probably go down to Cooper getting the win for them from the boot, but a lot of it also goes down to Teniela Tupou and the front row getting penalties from the scrums. Then Trevor Nyakane, he comes in at number 1 for Steven Kitshoff, who probably didn't have his best game last week. Trevor Nyakane, he's been brilliant so far this year on both sides of the scrum. He's not really a loose head anymore, but these days he's scrumming like a brilliant loose head. So he has a big task up against Tongan Thor. There's two Thors in this game with Tupou and Vermeulen. Then Frans Malherbe, he's at number 3. Bongi Mbonambi continues at number 2. I actually thought Marx would start this week because when he came on last week, I think he was probably the best player for the Springboks last week. The game changed a little bit for them as well. It looked like the Springboks got a little bit more go-forward ball. Then Falau Fahinga at number 2. Both hookers are guys that score a lot of tries from the back of the maul. Then we go to the locks. The Springboks have been dealt another injury at lock time. They have ran out of stocks at lock time. They only have 3 locks left and all of them are starting. Eben Etzebeth, Marvin Ori and then Mostert. Lotte Jager, he's suffering from concussion, so he's going to be back probably next week, we hope. Marvin Ori, he starts with a teammate he had in school with Eben Etzebeth. Etzebeth, he was also quiet last week. Marvin Ori, he will look to bring stability at line-out time, but, I mean, he is probably lower ranked in stature when it comes to Lotte Jager. Isaac Rodda, he's at number 4 with Matt Phillip. Again, it's a big contest at line-out time. At the loose forwards, the Wallabies did dominate the Springboks, and the Springboks have a good loose forward pack, but the Wallabies did well. Swinton, he's at number 6. Hooper at number 7. Continuing, he is making a record as the most capped Wallaby captain this week around, surpassing George Gregan. And then Valentini at number 8. Last week in the preview, Victor Matfield said he doesn't really see anyone else than Karevi be physical for the Wallabies before the game. He said that, and I was like, I don't think he's watched the Wallabies in a long time because Swinton and Valentini is two of the most physical players you can find on the field. Siya Kolisi, he continues at number 6. Franco Mostert, he continues at number 7. I would probably have shifted him to the locks this week around and got a number 7 in there. But he continues at number 7. He will improve probably. He is a big tackling machine. And Dwayne Vermeulen, he plays at number 8 in his second game back from injury. Hopefully for him, his form also improves because last week was not the Dwayne Vermeulen we're used to. We also heard this week he's going to Ulster, leaving the Bulls. So maybe that's also a big reason or something that would inspire him to have good form as well. Then Faf de Klerk at number 9. He's up against Nick White, so 2 experienced number 9s. Faf de Klerk, I don't think he's in the best form. Honestly, I think Kobus Reinach has been brilliant for the Springboks. I would probably have started him as well, but Faf de Klerk, a lot of the game is built around his box kicks. The kicks last week was just not on song. Nick White, he's at number 9. Last week the game was also closed out when he came onto the park. He is just a brilliant number 9. He just knows the dark arts of the game. you could see he just stands in a perfect spot where he closes off the two props, so you can't really see who is infringing. Not that I am claiming that the Wallabies didn't infringe or the Springboks did infringe or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, he has a real knack of blocking off the assistant referee, of seeing things like that. I don't know, you can maybe let me know. Andre Pollard at number 10, probably a lot of people would have thought he would be dropped. I didn't think he would be dropped. I thought they would give him another chance. He is a type of player that would bounce back, but in all honesty, the whole year his kicking has been atrocious. I think he's been kicking at a 74% record. At this level, you have to be at the 90. So we probably thought Morné Steyn would be at least on the bench. He's not there. He's up against Quade Cooper again. Quade Cooper, he was a massive surprise last week with how mature of a game he played. He didn't play how we usually see Quade Cooper playing. He didn't play that expansive type of rugby. He didn't play that game where he's trying to step and trying to make plays the whole time, trying funny offloads, trying big kicks. He played the game plan of the Wallabies, and that was to run the ball just into the sides of the rucks the whole time, into that ABC defenders, into the three guys next to the rucks, and that's where the Springboks are usually very strong. But if you tire them out there, you see there is a little bit of a weakness for the Springboks. Then in the centers, no changes again. Damian de Allende and continues. They've been in good form lately, not that they were in good form last week. Samu Kurevi, he was brilliant last week. He's been brilliant since returning for the Wallabies. It is a good case for where the ghetto law might be scrapped, for bringing in guys like this that can just really bring the standard of the centers up a lot. Ikitau at number 13. On the wings, Mapimpi and Nkosi, they did not have good games last week. Mapimpi, he missed a couple of balls in the air as well. He missed a couple of tackles, and Nkosi was nowhere on defense at all. He was never in the right position. Koriobeti at number 11, he will try to exploit Nkosi again. And Kellaway, he scored the only try for the Wallabies against the 3 tries of the Springboks. So Kellaway, I'd said I can't really pinpoint what it is about Kellaway, but he is just a really prolific try scorer. Tom Banks, a slippery fellow at number 15. Willie Leroux at number 15. He also had a poor game last week. One of those resulted in a big penalty where he passed it to Pollard, who was already being tackled. So I don't know. Willie Leroux is also supposed to bounce back. Most of the team should bounce back for the Springboks. Then we go to the benches. Again, a 6-2 split for the Springboks with no second row replacements. There isn't any second row replacements anymore, but I thought maybe a guy like Jean-Luc du Preez could come onto the bench. He can cover a second row as well, but no, they didn't go with that. They do have Malcolm Marx, Vincent Koch, and then Steven Kitshoff coming in this week at the number 17. So that is an experienced and strong front row to come on. That's up against Kaitu'u, Bell, and Robertson. Robertson playing his first game for the Wallabies since 2018 when he comes in. Kaitu'u, he made his debut last week. Angus Bell, still young, so maybe there is a case to be made for the front row in the second half, or to close out the game, might be in the favor of the Springboks this week around. But I think I made that same case last week as well. Or no, actually I didn't, because I said Slipper and Tupou are on the bench, and that actually proved to win the Wallabies the game. Marco van Staden, Smith, and then Visa again on the bench. So that is 3 loose forward replacements. If there's injuries to the second row for the Springboks, if there's 2, they are in big trouble, because Mostert can only shift into one of those positions. Darcy Swain is at number 19. Pete Samuel at number 20. Tate McDermott, seeing him on the bench is strange again, because he's been in brilliant form this year. Herschel Yankees is his direct competition. He didn't play a lot of minutes last week. Reece Hodge with his massive boot at number 22. Jordan Pataya at number 23. Also didn't see much of him last week. And in Damian Willems, he's at number 23. Again, we thought we might see a guy like Morné Steyn or maybe a Frans Steyn at number 23. But Damian Willems, I think he's had a brilliant year at the 12 position, coming in from the bench. He's also probably better at number 15. This game last week was the first time he played for the Springboks at number 10 in a very long time. So there was a lot of pressure on him, and he is really not a natural goal kicker. It's not where he shines. So guys, getting to this game, Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, mostly the same conditions as last week, which proved to be an Achilles heel to the Springboks. So I'm going to go with the Springboks again. Last week I was wrong about it. I think I had a big prediction for the Springboks. This week I'm going to go Springboks again, but much closer. I think Springboks to win it by 3 points. Wallabies are going to put up a fight, but the Springboks, they bounce back usually. They haven't lost 2 games in a row in a very, very long time. But if you want to look at history, they also haven't won in Australia in a very, very long time. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out this videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more international content. And then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.